Hi, welcome to America Uncovered. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. There's been a major development in the ongoing investigation into Trump-Russia collusion, which President Trump has described as, "There's no collusion." Also, it's a rigged witch hunt, which sounds like a fun Halloween event for families of all ages. The White House released this statement, saying, for reasons of transparency, President Trump has ordered the extensive declassification of several documents related to the Russia investigation. Specifically, he's making public the following: select pages of this FISA warrant application that was used to spy on Trump campaign advisor Carter Page, a series of FBI interviews with former Associate Deputy Attorney General Bruce Ohr, plus a third set of documents of FBI interview reports tied to the Page FISA applications. And in addition to these three sets of documents, the president made the unexpected move of asking the Department of Justice and the FBI to release all text messages on the Russia investigation from a bunch of high-level people. They include former FBI Director James Comey, former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, former lead FBI agent on the Russia investigation Peter Strzok, and former FBI lawyer Lisa Page, as well as Department of Justice official Bruce Ohr. And who knows what we'll find in those text messages? But I can tell you one thing, I wouldn't want all my text messages made public. Like that time I accidentally sent Shelley that embarrassing picture of me not wearing any suit. Now, as president, Trump does have the power to declassify material he believes is in the public interest. And since he has called the Russia investigation a hoax, a deep state scam, and as you know, a rigged witch hunt, apparently he's used that phrase 84 times this year alone, the president does think releasing all this stuff is in the public interest. At a minimum, it's in his own interest because, think about it, if Trump is calling for more transparency, it's pretty unlikely that the classified parts of these documents would incriminate him in Russia collusion. Trump clearly believes that if we, the public, are allowed to see these documents in full, we might also agree that it's all a rigged witch hunt. And Republicans in Congress praised the declassification, saying that it would reveal systemic corruption and bias within the Department of Justice and the FBI. But Democrats have called it an abuse of power and said that Trump is interfering in an active investigation. Yes, abuse of power. That's how totalitarian fascist leaders do it. Make government documents transparent and available for public scrutiny. The Justice Department says it's complying with Trump's orders. In a statement, it said the request from Trump triggers a declassification review process to ensure the safety of America's national security interest. So we don't know for sure when we'll actually be able to see these declassified documents. It could be days, it could be weeks. But this is what we know. The first thing Trump called to be declassified is the June 2017 Carter Page FISA warrant application. Pages 10 through 12 are about the Russian government's attempts to influence the 2016 U.S. presidential elections. And pages 17 to 34 are about former Trump campaign advisor Carter Page supposedly working with Russian government officials to influence the election. Here's why that's important. House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes has said these classified sections show that when the DOJ and FBI approached the FISA court for the wiretap warrant on Page, they hid what's called exculpatory evidence.
There is exculpatory evidence that we have seen of classified documents that need to be declassified.
Basically, that's evidence that would have cleared Carter Page from guilt, and if the FBI and DOJ had not hidden it from the FISA court would probably not have granted the wiretap warrant on Page. Declassifying these documents could also show more evidence of circular reporting between the FBI and certain journalists. Circular reporting in this case would mean the FBI leaked the story to journalists, who then wrote stories about it that the FBI then used to say, look, here's proof it's in the newspaper. This has happened before. For example, U.S. Vice President Dick Cheney's top aide had leaked a false story to a New York Times reporter that Iraq had illegal chemical and biological weapons. And then, a few hours after that was published, Cheney went on Meet the Press and quoted her story as evidence that Iraq had chemical and biological weapons. Circular reporting, an oldie, but a goodie. The second thing Trump wants to declassify are the interviews between the FBI and Bruce Ohr. The FBI interviewed Ohr 12 times that we know about, but it could have been more. That's why the White House statement says all FBI reports of interviews with Bruce G. Ohr. The issue here is related to the original dossier that alleged Trump-Russia collusion, sometimes called the Trump Dossier or the Steele Dossier. For background, check out our previous episode, Russia Collusion and the Trump Dossier. Link is below. The dossier was originally created at the request of Trump's Republican opponents during the primary elections, and then picked up and paid for by the Clinton campaign and the DNC. It was written by former British spy Christopher Steele. Steele had ongoing contact with Bruce Ohr, who worked at the Department of Justice. His wife, Nellie Ohr, worked for Fusion GPS, the company that paid Steele for the dossier. She had also once worked for the CIA. According to a FISA memo that was declassified earlier this year, Steele had been fired as an FBI source because he was leaking information to the media. Since Bruce Ohr and Christopher Steele had a relationship, it's possible he continued to pass on allegations from the Clinton-funded dossier to the FBI. Also, in a closed-door hearing in August, Ohr revealed the FBI had doubts about the credibility of the dossier, but hid that fact when it was using the dossier to get a wiretapping warrant on Carter Page. That's why the third set of documents being declassified is the ones used for the Carter Page FISA application itself. According to something called the Woods Procedures, when the FBI submits evidence to get a wiretap, that evidence is supposed to be backed up by probable cause, not just based on a hunch. Otherwise, wiretaps could violate the privacy of innocent Americans. And while it may be possible the FBI lied about probable cause, the Woods Procedures also require the FBI to disclose the existence and nature of any prior or ongoing asset relationship between the subject and the FBI. And Carter Page had worked with the FBI, in this case involving Russian spies. And now finally to President Trump's surprise declassification of those text messages. No, the other text messages. Already there have been some anti-Trump text messages made public between FBI agents Lisa Page and Peter Strzok. They call Trump, among other things, an idiot and loathsome human. But more importantly, there was the infamous insurance policy text in case Trump won the election. Now, besides all of Lisa Page and Peter Strzok's texts being fully declassified, we'll be getting the declassified texts from Comey, McCabe, and Ohr. Meanwhile, in another closed-door hearing, Lisa Page revealed that as of May 2017, after 9 months of using some of the most awesome surveillance powers afforded to U.S. intelligence, the FBI still had not made a case connecting Trump or his campaign to Russia's election meddling. So what all this declassification may mean is this. It could turn out that the FBI and DOJ were dishonest about how strong a case they had about Russia collusion, misled the FISA court so they could wiretap people close to Trump, and leaked a barrage of media stories to make the evidence of collusion seem stronger than it actually was, and used that to justify launching the Mueller Special Counsel investigation. And if it turns out the Trump investigation really was politically motivated and not based on evidence, in other words, a rigged witch hunt, it could spell the end of the special counsel investigation. Also, the beginning of a lot of 3 a.m. tweets from Donald Trump saying, "I told you so." But it's also possible that the documents won't show anything that clear-cut. We won't know anything until the declassified documents are released. And as I said, that could be mere days away or many weeks away. But there's one thing I can guarantee. We're going to hear a lot of spin. So stay tuned for updates from America Uncovered. And remember, this show relies on viewer support. If you want more videos like this, support America Uncovered with $1 or more per episode on the crowdfunding website Patreon. That's patreon.com/America Uncovered. The link is below. Once again, I'm your host, Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.